Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realnesss with 3S's. I'm your host, Chantele. Francis here, coming in a stormy hotel room in Toronto near the airport. We're going to talk about the challenge, season 5 of All Stars Rivals. Matthew, this is episode 3. How are you feeling about this episode on a whole?
I feel pretty good. I think it was a solid episode. I'd say better episode than last week. And still a good season. I'm still enjoying everything. Definitely not super happy about the final outcome, but leave it to Devin and Leroy to make big, bold moves and send home a female team in episode 3.
Yeah, I kind of have a problem with this for the fact, okay, we'll get into it, I'm sure, a lot more, but I'm mostly annoyed that it wasn't necessarily a well-balanced challenge. I mean, okay, yes, they did finish the puzzle first, so assuming that they both just took 5 minutes to be able to hold on to that thing, they were ahead and they just never had a chance to catch up. Okay, fine. They lost fair and square. If they'd finished the puzzle faster, maybe they would have won. But the guys are taller. They're arguably bigger, which means it would be easier to even wrap all this rope around them for it not to fall on the ground and touch the ground. Like, I think Kellyanne's 5'4", and I'm assuming Adam and Steve are around at least 5'10", maybe 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2". Like, they're a lot bigger, and so they have a lot more room to put the rope all over them. And so I just think it was an unfair, it wasn't a balanced challenge for a male team versus a female team. And yeah, and someone's going home because of it. Boo.
Yeah, it's also I have more issues with these daily challenges so far. Like,
we're getting there too, but yes.
yeah, like this week's daily, like top two, the only two teams that actually had a shot were Devin and Leroy and Fessy and Amber, who, like, obviously Fessy and Amber's a male-female team, but they're just stacked. And then last week, it was really just Steve and Adam and Fessy and Amber that had a shot. And then the first week for the Stars, it was the two male teams. And then Fessy and Amber didn't get there, but the two male teams finished 1-2. And then it was other strong male-female teams. So I think my one concern coming into the season was the imbalance between genders. And we're already seeing it take place here. I'm sure it'll even out, and at some point there'll be something that favors smaller people. But things like trivia, trivia is neutral for everyone.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's even if it favors smaller people, the bigger people, the stronger people are still capable of doing well. So it's not like there's something, unless it's crawling through a teeny hole, maybe they would be advantage of that with that. But if it's trivia where we know that Veronica is likely to do well, Fessy might still do well in that challenge. There's still other people that might do well in the challenges that we're hoping that our weaker teams are going to be able to do well in.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's something like trivia, or if it's just a straight up puzzle, it's yes, Veronica and Katie can win, but so could any other team. It's kind of it's kind of an issue you see a lot on Big Brother with challenges, where it's okay, we have 50% of challenges where only the 3 strongest people can win. And then the other 50%, anyone could win, including those same 3 people. And then we see a lot those people end up lucking into a couple of those wins, and then they also win all the physical ones. And it's okay, well, that's how you get Jag and Matt winning 15 challenges out of 16, and it's just a complete shit show. So I think the easiest thing for the challenge to do here would be just not have male and female teams. I get that some of these pairs are pretty iconic. Steve and Adam, they wanted to capitalize on Veronica and Katie, but I feel you could have made a few switches, put Veronica with Leroy, make up some story about how Katie and Devin are rivals, or put Katie with Steve.
Katie could be kind of mad at Steve for their first
Yeah.
season of All Stars together. Like I'm sure they're going to get over all of that because it wasn't that big of a deal, but they could say that there was still animosity there and it's solved. Like they definitely need to have it be mixed sex teams for there to be any sort of balance and us not feeling like, okay, they're basically gearing this up for a male team to win or a male-female team, but likely like Devin and Leroy are looking good right now to me.
Well, yeah, I don't even know necessarily about the win because I'm guessing the final will be probably similar to last year's final where literally anyone could win. It's just going to be like very fluky. Um, I don't think they would go as far as to have the final be very physical, but so far the daily challenges have been pretty physical.
Very, very physical. Very, very, very. We have some people hanging out with us today. Hello, everybody. Willie thinks that this episode was better than episode 2. I don't know. They're both fine. I don't think that one was better than the other necessarily. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this one is better.
Kay says, what's up? So Markiev here says, hey guys, I refuse to watch this season, but I'll be here for your recap. Why the refusal? That's my question. Let us know as to why. I mean, I can understand there's a little things about it being kind of unfair and that our favorites are already going home. But I do want to support it because I want it to come back. So why are you refusing? Let us know. W says, if the group is going to vote in a man-man team, well, one of them have to send them home. Okay, so is W saying that like if like maybe they only choose wait, I don't even know. What do you think W is saying here?
Well, the thing is, like, the group is voting a male team in. They voted Adam and Steven twice. So yeah, I mean someone's got to send them home. But the thing is, like the winning team, it just decides who's gonna go in against them. And to this point, like both weeks, we've seen the winning team just choose, in their opinion, the weakest team to go against the male team. And I think that's a problem as well, because the fact that there's really 3 teams right now that are just dominating physically, they don't want to take shots at the other team. So even though the rest of the house is voting in Adam and Steve, like Devin and Leroy are not incentivized to put a strong team against them.
Yeah, why?
Because then Devin and Leroy just become the team that's going to get thrown in most likely.
If we don't win. So
Leroy had a good point here where Leroy's like, yeah, I hope they win so they can go in again. And Adam and Steve don't really have many friends in there. So unless they win a daily, they'll probably go in again next week.
AM says another daily where Aneesa doesn't complete. She has a completion percentage of 0% and she's a 20-year vet. She's just lazy. Shots fired. Do you agree with AM's statement here?
I think you might have to add a 1 to that number too.
Yeah. She's a little bit frustrating. Okay, we'll get into a little bit more about Aneesa because a lot of this episode was about her actually. W says top 2 last season was Laurel and Cara. Since when are Adam and Steve unbeatable? There's a reason Kellyanne and Sylvia aren't champs. I mean, I think their size and the challenge just didn't really favor them. Like, if they didn't win the puzzle, they had no shot at beating the other 2, and they got to the puzzle second because that whole 5-minute thing it sucks, right? Waiting for 5 minutes, holding a rope, like there's no equalizer really there.
Yeah, and also like even if they finished the puzzle first, like I don't think Kellyanne and Sylvia would have been able to hold it. Like they were struggling in like under 1 minute, and I feel like they would have had way harder of a time just maintaining that. And to your point, like the 2 bigger guys and who have more body to wrap the rope around, it's like they're naturally going to do a bit better. And yeah, I mean, like what I said before to Dabu's point is, I think the final will probably be like a crapshooty final. And that's what we got in All Stars 4, where Leroy got eliminated on like a tic-tacky, like random game. I can't remember who else got eliminated. Nicole Z got eliminated. And then Steve was doing pretty well in that final, but I'm pretty sure he like completely fucked up his checkpoints. And then Laurel and Kara were able to get one too. So no, I wouldn't be shocked if a male, female, or even a female, female team won, but I just don't think they're going to win many dailies or eliminations.
Well, not with the style of both that they've been offering us this season so far. It hasn't been equalized in a way that I would think would be fair. I would be complaining if I were these people. Do you think that they're annoyed?
I heard there was some complaining early in the season about the pairs, and one of the producers had to like come onto the bus after a challenge and like yelled at the cast and said, like stop complaining. And that's why I'm saying this about the final too. I can't remember who was talking about this, but they
I think
said
it was Fessy that said that.
the producer
Fessy.
came on.
I think Fessy
Yeah, maybe
said
it was
that in
Fessy.
his...
Yeah, the producer was saying, we're not like, don't worry, like the final will be like anyone's game. It's like, okay, like that's cool and all, but what about everything else up until the final? Like are any of these female teams going to make it to the final? If this is kind of how the game is going?
Highly,
And also,
highly,
if you need a
highly...
star, to get there, and the only way to get a star is to win an elimination, that means at some point Veronica and Katie are going to have to put themselves into an elimination.
Corey says, yes, Kellyanne complained to the producer. She mentioned it on Instagram Live with Frank. Oh, did you, Matthew did hear or see a bit of that Instagram Live. Did you hear her complaining about her partners and stuff like that?
No, I did not.
No? Okay, we'll watch it if he posts it after. I'll watch it, so I'll be armed with information for next week, hopefully. Am says, I hate this format. Female teams don't stand a chance. At bare minimum, they should factor in some of the shorter competitors' heights. Katie and Veronica could barely place the balls in the sand. Yeah, they're teeny tiny people. Like, it just doesn't incentivizes them to do well because they know that they're likely going to lose. So it's like Vanessa or Veronica was saying, is like they just want to look like they're the worst, so they'll just get dragged to the end, which is a fair strategy. But for the people that are female teams that are a little bit stronger, they're going to get thrown in. It's annoying. Boo. Okay, well, let's start talking about this episode. So we see everybody outside at a day party. I do like seeing them in their like natural habitat, like having a good time. I think it's wild seeing Turbo playing cornhole. I just don't picture him like playing normal games.
That was something Fessy actually talked about as well, where Fessy was playing cornhole and Turbo had never played before. And Fessy was like, just like playing nice with Turbo. And it's like, hey, you want to play? And he like showed Turbo how to play. And Fessy was saying that the first game they played, like Fessy beat Turbo pretty easily because Turbo had never played. And then they ended the game. And then Fessy was like watching Turbo, like practicing cornhole for like hours at a time until he was hitting every shot. And then the next day, Turbo was like begging Fessy to play. And Fessy said Turbo didn't miss one shot. And Turbo is like ultra competitive. So he lost at something and then was just like, I picture him like out there till like 4 a.m. just until he gets everyone in. So I thought that was a funny little story from Fessy.
Have you purchased his Patreon, or are you just watching his YouTube stuff?
I just saw he had his first episode on YouTube, and he was talking about that in like the first episode, where I guess he was like doing like a bit of like first impressions of people, even though it wasn't necessarily his first impression.
Mary asked if it's a frat game. Well, I mean, maybe they play it at frat houses. I'd say it's more like a tailgate party game, no? Or like sporting event game where you're kind of hanging out in groups of people.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a carnival kind of game too.
Yeah, carnival. It's kind of like at a party you're gonna have like cornhole in the back, like what other that game where you throw like the two balls in the string on those, I forget what it's called, on like those like rungs. That game. Sometimes you'll play what's it, petanque. Anyways, it's like backyard games. Definitely backyard and carnival games. Okay, Anne wants to know the younger version of themselves, wants to know if Katie is taller than Veronica. I hope we get that confirmation this season. I think Katie is taller than Veronica. I guess that's what they fight about all the time. Is that what AM's talking about?
Yeah, well, their big fight was when Katie was like yelling at Veronica and saying like, "You're a short, like pimply face slut," and Katie, aren't you kind of short too? Um, yeah, but I do think Katie. It seems like when they're doing confessionals or the pre stuff, Katie is a little bit taller. Katie has been grossly under edited so far, though. Last week she had 0 confessionals. I don't know if she had one this week. She might have had one joint one with Veronica, but Katie is not getting much airtime thus far.
Is that what it's called, AM? Ladder golf? When you throw the balls in the string? Wild West says that Frank is what the challenge has been missing. What do you agree with this, Matthew?
Oh, I think a lot of people in this cast are what we've been missing. Frank, yeah, definitely like someone that leans into like the strategic villain kind of role and isn't afraid to like shake the tables. I think that was sorely missing on season 40. All the only person we really had playing that kind of game was Bananas, but like Bananas is just being Bananas, and I think Frank is like a little bit more like tactical. No offense to Bananas, because I mean he's obviously made a career out of this, but I think Bananas is more of a character, and Frank is like truly like a smarter kind of like evil mastermind kind of guy. So I think yeah, Frank has definitely been missed over the last 15 seasons.
Hi, Gina Marie. Gina Marie says ladder golf, or what my family calls is testicle toss. Okay. I guess we are talking about the same game because I can understand it being called the testicle toss for sure. Hi, Asia. Okay, so Sylvia is talking to Shane about how Kellyanne needed to hear this, and Shane is listening to her, but basically saying that he doesn't trust Kellyanne. I don't really even understand like why they hated each other so much. Like, yes, Kellyanne was annoying when she was winning. When she was like, the underdog with the treehouse and all that stuff on that season, and she'd win and just kind of rub it in everybody's face. Okay, is that it though? Was there anything else that happened?
I think Kellyanne might have been partially responsible for Sylvia going home that season.
Oh,
I
right,
don't
right. But it
remember.
was because she won something, probably, right? And
I
like sent
believe
her in.
so. I think Kellyanne won and sent Sylvia in against Naya. But
Oh,
I think
was
like
that the trick shot Naya, that one? Was it that, or was that something else?
I think so because it was I think it was the one Derek beat Brad in or beat someone in. Um, but yeah, I think like Silvio had been kind of going at Kellyanne and Kendall throughout that season, and then I mean Kellyanne got the last laugh. Yeah, but I mean I did not come into this season expecting it to be as heated as it was, and so that was a bit of a surprise to me. I knew they had bad blood, but I didn't think it was anything that serious.
Not at all. Sylvia's saying that she was trying to get along with Kellyanne. I'm like, she wasn't doing a good job trying at all. It was the worst showing of trying to get along with their partner that you can imagine. But obviously, seeing what happens later on the episode, I think Sylvia's insecurities about not doing well in challenges and then like actually not even completing the first one, I think that lent her to be more irritated with Kellyanne, who wasn't being gracious and considerate and like, you know what I mean? She was just being like, oh, you suck. Like, why can't you be better? And so I think that that's maybe also what stirred up that fight. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I I've been hearing like some people have been saying like with heights that a lot of people like that were never afraid of heights. Once they come back to the show having kids, they are like petrified of heights. I think like Darrell has said the same thing. A few others have said it. I think Melissa said it as well.
I mean, because you just
Like, yeah,
don't want
when
to
I,
die because you have children,
yeah,
basically.
like you're like when you're up there, you're just like thinking about your kids the whole time, and that's the fear. And it's not even like it's like these people that used to be adrenaline junkies, they've all kind of echoed that same sentiment. So, uh, yeah, I think like that. I mean, Kellyanne was obviously frustrated. But I think Sylvia, I, I think Sylvia for the most part is like a pretty good partner and is like good physically. I think another tough part is she just had a kid, so I wonder. Like, I know like this episode they kind of did seem like their head was in the right place, but I do wonder if maybe that was not necessarily the case, and if Sylvia and Kellyanne both, who seemingly said they had other stuff to do, didn't like fully have their head invested in the competition here.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kellyanne's, or sorry, Sylvia's insecurities, and we know that Kellyanne is very, very fit. Sylvia just had the baby. You know, Kellyanne is really willing and able to do this heights challenge. Sylvia is not, and I think that maybe just her physique alone was something that was a little bit intimidating to Sylvia, just because she just had a baby and she wasn't necessarily feeling confident in her body and her what she was capable of doing. And probably she, she said yes to the show because she probably was like, well, I can fend for myself. Like if I'm just doing this on my own, like I will play my own game. I don't think she thought that she was going to be attached to somebody, especially somebody that she's not getting along with, you know?
Yeah.
Gina, Maria, I have to agree with you here. I was totally curious as to everybody's dog that Kellyanne was naming them. She said Sylvia was a Doberman, mean, and you kind of need to be nice to them or else they're going to bark at you. Yeah, were you curious as to what the other castmates' dogs were?
I did think we were gonna get her going over at least a few people,
Yeah.
but no, no such luck. I mean, we did get well, we know Kellyanne is the Chihuahua according to Sylvia, so we got two. We've got Kellyanne and Sylvia's dog, but we're missing the rest of the cast.
Maybe that'll be in like secret scenes or something. Jolie is agreeing with us here. So post 30 years old and post becoming a mom, drastically changing. Wouldn't skydive ever again. Yeah, it's like you just don't want to leave your like children behind. I guess I don't have any kids, so I don't fully understand that, but I can conceptually understand that. Wait, oh wait, Gina says, and I think she said Adam was a golden
Oh yeah,
doodle,
yeah.
golden
I
retriever or
think
doodle.
golden retriever.
Yeah, I can see that for him. It's a bit of a golden
Adam is
retriever.
so funny. I Ad the thing I love about Adam is like he is just like another person that is just so happy to be there too. And in his confessionals, he's like cracking like kind of dad jokes and he's like smirking the whole time. So I do love Adam as a character on the show. Um and honestly like he's another one like similar to Frank that I think has just been like severely like missing from the flagship and like season 40 like he was clearly willing to do it. His girlfriend was there, he's back in the mix. I've heard him say he'd love to do the flagship, and I mean, he's not getting those calls, but we're getting like so many of these other OGs that are a little bit more like worn out, in my opinion. And like, I think we've seen all there is to see from some of these people, but I think Adam has a lot more to offer. Um, and he is like someone along with Frank that I would love to see over on the flagship.
I agree with that absolutely. I think he's just comes from the era where there was no Instagram and no social media and no like people caring about getting onto the next show and making preseason alliances in the same way that they're doing it now. Before, they were just like, okay, we got asked to come back and hang out for a few months in the summer, and I'm here with all my friends. It was kind of more of a like a summer camp vibe, you know. And now it's like, oh, it's big, it's really intense, and it's for a lot of money. And so I think he still has the fun element of it. You know, you're saying that he's happy to be there, and I think he is happy to be there. And I think a lot of the other people that are kind of newer to the show, yes, they're happy to be there, but they're there to put in the work to win some money. And we can tell. I can tell anyways.
Yeah, and I think another good thing about Adam is he's very happy to be there, but he's also very capable. And like he seems to me like someone that would thrive on the flagship as well. Some of the people on All Stars, like all due respect to them, like I think they're meant for All Stars. And I don't necessarily like it's fun to see them there. I love seeing them there. Like someone that sticks out is like Keefla from last season. Like I would love to see him on All Stars again, but if he went over the flagship, like he would get eaten alive by all these like young kids. Like he would not fit in. I think Adam is someone that can kind of fit in, and is like someone even on the flagship would be in the top 5 competitors potentially on any given season. So yeah, I mean, my wish would be Frank and Adam on the male side go over to the flagship.
I'd be happy about that because I think that they bring a good energy and vibe. And yes, they're getting thrown in over and over again, but like they're not super annoying about it, which is like I don't.
Oh no, they're not at all. And also like the fact that like Adam and Steve are like, or mostly Adam, honestly, here is like very sloppy gameplay wise. I think that also bodes well for why I would want him on the regular, the flagship, because like he's like making a plea in the deliberation, and it's like the worst plea you could ever imagine. And it's like everyone is kind of like holding their laughter, and it's like, no, we're not volunteering to like give you a day off. Um, but he's like so old school and like thinks that it's like I'm sure he doesn't think this anymore, but it's like a game of honor and integrity. It's like no, honey, no, that's not how we play anymore.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah.
We see Kellyanne complaining about Sylvia and the whole fight to Frank. And this is where we get the soundbite or the confessional, which I thought was going to be about something a little more sinister, where Frank was like, I don't care about anybody other than my partner. I'm only here for myself and for Sam. Like everybody else, like I'll throw you in. I don't care about you. And so I thought that something actually really happened and that it was like this big contentious moment. But, you know, it was just them piecing that in when he was talking to Kellyanne. Were you expecting it to be a bigger payoff for that confessional?
Yeah, I was expecting like from the preview that it was going to be like some sort of like big blindside that Frank was pulling off. So yeah, based on the preview, I was definitely expecting more. And yeah, it was kind of just a nothing burger.
Nothing burger. Then we see Sam really nervous to have come back to the challenge. They haven't been on the season for 12 years. And she's talking to Aneesa about this. And Aneesa's letting Sam know that athletes come in all shapes and sizes. And even TJ has said that to her last season, which made her feel good that she was finally being recognized as an athlete. And we hear Sam say that Aneesa is beautiful and smart and funny. And then they hug it out. So rumors that they are in a little entanglement this season. It seems like we're on track for that. Have you heard anything else about this?
No, just what we talked about already. I haven't heard anything since. I don't think they're like in a serious relationship or anything now, but yeah, I think we got the first potential spark tonight, and I'm sure it'll be something to monitor over the next few weeks.
Yeah, she's beautiful and smart. I mean, you like who you like. Adam Adam is super sick this whole episode. He is in the washroom, like not feeling good. Did we hear if anybody else was sick during the the beginning of the season, or was it just Adam? Because he seemed really sick. It seemed like something that was from the environment or maybe the food that they were eating. Did you hear about anybody else not feeling well, or just him?
No, just when Adam said later in the episode that like something was going around. So I wonder if other people. Oh no, Kellyanne mentioned last episode that she was also sick with something. And that was part of the fight too, because Sylvia's like, oh, anytime someone says they're sick, you have to say you're sicker. Um, so we did get a little bit of that from Kellyanne last step. So yeah, I mean, definitely something was going around. The only ones that I've heard are Kellyanne and Adam, though.
Mm. All right. Well, he's trying to rest up because they have a daily to get to, and this daily is called Ball Buster. Clearly, when he's doing all of his confessionals, making his ball puns, he was feeling a little bit better. It seemed. But basically, for this daily, they had to bring 10 balls of their team color to a stand at the other side of this obstacle course. You could only bring the balls that you could carry. So if you drop a ball, you have to leave it where it is. The balls are of different size, so the bigger balls would probably be easier to spot, harder to carry. Smaller balls hard to find, easier to carry multiple of them. And they need to transport 10 balls to the other side. So we already talked about how it wasn't a really evenly matched daily. But any other thoughts about this daily and how it went down?
I think it, I think it's a cool daily. I
Oh, and there's
like
a
think
puzzle at
this
the
would
end.
be
Sorry, I forgot.
yeah, I think this would have been like a really awesome daily if it was uh like a more balanced teams. If this was something on the flagship or if it was individual somehow and they adjusted it slightly, I think that would have been super cool. I like the daily. It was just like right off the bat, like similar to the last two, you could kind of tell which one of three or four teams were going to win. So that's my complaint. But I do like the concept of the daily.
Whitney here is saying that according to Kellyanne, Turbo was sick first, and then a bunch of people got it from him. Yikes! Like it sucks that like I don't know why people are getting sick, but it sucks. Like it's not feeling great being sick in another country, far away from home, when you have to compete and be on camera. Like ugh, that's not my idea of fun. And yes, Kellyanne was sick on 40 as well, and so yeah, it sucks. I have to agree with Sophie. Why aren't they showing any of Devon so far? Devon is in her purple era. What's going on?
Yeah, there are way too many. I was saying about Katie as well. Like so many like of these fun characters are being purpled, and at the end of the day, it's because the episodes are only an hour now, less than an hour. It's like 55 minutes, and then with commercials, it's down to 42 minutes. And then 20 minutes or 25 minutes are tied to two challenges. So it's like 17 minutes of non-challenges and we're just not getting as much. So I wish it was 90 minutes. I really do. I think that would help a lot. Shane has been quiet. Corey Lay has been quiet. Big T's even been quiet. I'm curious to see. I mean, obviously Adam and Steve are getting a lot because they're going in a lot, and then we're getting the people that go home each week. So there's not many confessionals to go around, sadly.
I do like how Turbo and Nany seem to be getting along. He's like easy peasy, and he's like, "Great job, Nany." So it looks like whatever problems that they have, they've solved it, and they really are working together. And I wonder. I mean, I know that Turbo will always try his hardest, but I wonder if they're not putting in as like all their effort. Like maybe Nany isn't because they don't want to look too strong. Because I think that they would be a really strong team in a final. And like if they're not going to get thrown in, I think that maybe not looking super strong is probably a better position for them. So they got their social game on lock.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know about Nany, it's she's a huge threat in a final.
No, stop. Don't be sarcastic. But like, I think Turbo is so good in a final. Nany, I think with Turbo would be able to do well in a final. Against, I guess not maybe two guy teams, but other teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, like, episode 1 was, I feel like the editing has been a little weird, and I'm not even complaining about it, but the editing has been a little weird where episode 1 it was like very centered around Nany and Turbo, and it was kind of like portraying like that Turbo is like a ticking time bomb, and it's like when is this guy gonna pop off?
And
And
now he's
then
playing cornhole and saying easy
yeah, and
peasy.
episode 2 and 3 he's like seemingly like super quiet. Like when Ashley's like having her a bit of a freak out, Turbo's just like chilling in the kitchen, like laughing, and he's like super calm. So it's like I don't know if they that first episode it was just like, hey, like remember this, like Turbo is still Turbo, or if it's just gonna be like, oh no, that was Turbo, but Nany is gonna like keep him under wraps. So I'm curious to see how it unfolds. Um,
We
but it
haven't
is like
seen the scene
weird.
where she says it's too early for this, right? Or was that first episode?
I'm nervous that that was edited out of the season. They do that so much where there's like these moments like last in season 40, like Tina and Bananas got into some big argument and they didn't show it. So um I'm worried because Nany said, oh, it's too early, and I'm pretty sure Beth was there for that. And I just worry that they're not going to show that. So I wouldn't be shocked if like Turbo is mostly well behaved at this point.
I mean, if he was sick, he could be sick in this moment still. And sick people are not, they don't have the energy to argue. So maybe this is why he's a little more docile, is that he's recovering. But maybe when he is at 100%, he'll be a little bit more turbo. Leo obviously is here and he's ready to win the money. Dario and Ashley, their strategy is to get one ball and just like be fast and take off. I thought it was hilarious that Melissa, who has a pretty strong accent herself, cannot understand Nicole. And Nicole, even when she's enunciating, yes, I can understand her, but I can understand how somebody that's British could not understand Nicole. I think this dynamic about them is kind of funny. She needs subtitles in person, Melissa. I was kind of annoyed though when we started seeing Aneesa now being scared of heights because she had fallen. Like, yeah, I'd probably be a little bit, apprehensive climbing these rope nets if I'd recently fallen and dislocated a shoulder. Yes, I get that, but and I agree with Ashley being like, I'm her best shot at winning this thing, and she sucks. Like, so annoying.
Yeah. Well, I would say
Ashley. I feel bad for Ashley, to be honest.
I do as well. And I just think that their biggest problem is like they're not on the same page. Like I think it's okay. I mean, it's stupid that like the format of this season allows like teams in the middle to just not try. But like at least like Veronica and Katie have acknowledged that. And it's like, hey, we're on the same page. Like we want teams to want to take us to the end, and we're not going to win this. So like why are we going to overexert ourselves? And I feel like Aneesa has the same mindset, but it's not, she hasn't made that clear to Ashley, which is the problem. And like Ashley's wanting to try, Ashley's wanting to go all out, and it feels like Aneesa hasn't relayed the message to Ashley that I don't think we should do this. um Personally, like the format is a little twisted in the fact that all that really matters is the one team that wins. So if you go into a daily, it's like, yeah, I mean, if I know we're not going to win, like Frank is the same. Like Frank is not pushing Sam to try harder because he knows they're not going to win. So why is he going to like make an ass of himself and yell at Sam for nothing when he can just stay in the middle? Yeah, and that's true. Like Jordan was definitely Aneesa's best shot at winning, and she couldn't win. So, as much as I love Ashley, I'm not sure Ashley's going to be the one to get Aneesa over the edge either.
But Ashley is being patient and gracious and nice with her. You don't think that strategy is going to work with Aneesa?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
We already talked about it a bit, but Veronica and Katie are laying low. Like you said, they know their strengths, and their strength is to look weak, so people will just take them to the end, or they might use them as like a layup team in elimination, unfortunately. But if they work their social magic, then they might be able to be in that position where like they just get taken to the end, which I'm fine with them just being dragged to the end.
Yeah, they just, in my opinion, they just need to survive like the next couple weeks, like based on how we've seen things unfold. Like we saw Beth and Johnny targeted. Now we saw Kellyanne and Sylvia targeted. Naturally, like you would think the next team physically to be targeted would be Veronica and Katie. I do think they have Veronica in particular has a lot of pull, so I don't necessarily think that will be the case, but they have to survive the next few weeks, and then their best bet is like Adam and Steve giving them a star. Like if they go in, if they someone throws in Adam and Steve against one of the other star holder teams and Adam and Steve wins, gives Veronica and Katie a star. And then at that point, no one's going to try to take them out because people will want them in the final. But it's like that first few weeks is going to be tough.
Yeah, I think so far they're doing okay. But yeah, like their runway might run out shortly. Dario says we're gonna watch episode 3. We're watching it on Slice in Canada. I actually have no idea where else it would be on. Watching it live can be done on mtv.com. I believe maybe YouTube TV has it live. I don't know if it saves the episodes anymore. And Matthew, does it come on Paramount Plus tomorrow or no?
It does in Canada. I don't know about the US. I don't think it does in the US though.
Oh.
But if you're in Canada and you have Paramount Plus, it should come on tomorrow.
Okay. Brandon says, I love Aneesa because I love Era 1, but I will call her out that she should not have made that comment about being offended by Robin on the duel, Trishelle and Rivals 2 and Kellyanne and Bloodlines. I don't remember all the comments. I remember the Robin comment and Trishelle. I don't remember Kellyanne, though, in Bloodlines.
Yeah, I don't remember Kellyanne's either.
I don't remember. Adam and Steve is killing me. I cannot stop hearing the Bible reference. When was the Bible reference? Do you remember, Matthew?
Adam and Eve.
Oh, Adam and
Well,
Steve.
Whenever I think of Adam and Steve, I think of Zoolander 2. If anyone's seen Zoolander 2, or like Will Ferrell is like telling the story of Adam and Eve, and it's like it wasn't just Adam and Eve, it was Adam and Eve and Steve. And I just think of Adam and Steve here with that because they're kind of like these like goofier guys too. Adam kind of reminds me of Will Ferrell a little bit, to be honest.
A little bit. Debbie says, Brandon, when last did Veronica's strategy work out? Dirty 30, a long time ago and didn't make the final, or wasn't a long time ago and didn't make the final, was given a star at All Stars 4 because they were trying to block Cara out. I mean, at this, like, I'm fine with however Veronica plays the game. She's not coming in to be the next, like, athletic presence. She's going to do what she does, and hopefully it gets her to the end and see if she has a shot at winning. I just don't know if she'll have any power to be able to, like, knock out some of the people that will, like, for sure win against her or against them.
Yeah, I think Veronica's fared like decently well since she's returned in Dirty 30. I mean, Dirty 30, she was great. I think she only did 2 seasons after that in the 30s.
Which one did she do in CT? Where they
that one was not a great performance. I think that was 31 or 32. And then she came back for Ride or Dies, and like her and Darrell did not do well. They were out pretty quick. But I think on All Stars, for the most part, she's done decent. One of the All Stars, she had an injury, like she like broke her toe and left right before the final.
Oh, I hated that actually, because like I wanted just to see how she would do in the final.
Yeah, so she got out there, and then the second one she made the final, and she had some pretty good moves there. Like she convinced Nicole to go against to save her after Nicole was going to go against Veronica, and then she had her change her mind and go against Jasmine. And so it was like quick thinking, strategizing. I mean, for what like I expect of Veronica, I think she's done pretty well in the last 4 or 5 seasons she's done for the most part.
Amps wishes that Veronica would train in the off seasons because then she wouldn't have to put as much effort into her social and political game. True, but sometimes maybe she wasn't planning on coming on and they begged her, you know? Am says, I think that if Veronica's foot was still injured when she was on Ride or Dies, well, that would suck. I mean, yeah, broken toes, they kind of can take forever to heal. Because you can't really put a cast or anything on it. You just have to let it heal on its own. So Devin and Leroy are first at the puzzle. Amber and Fessy is right behind them. But Devin and Leroy do manage to win here. And Frank is worried about going into elimination because he feels if he goes in there with Sam, they are losing. We saw them earlier on in the challenge that Sam didn't have another lap in her. And he was pretty gracious about her quitting. But I feel like it's going to bother him sometimes that he's just like just kind of how Ashley is starting to get bothered by Aneesa, just not even keeping up at all. I think that Frank might lose his patience soon. Like, at least in an episode or two.
Yeah, I think once Frank once it gets to the point where you just there's not as many places to hide, I think Frank will be a little bit more aggravated. Or once other teams are starting to kind of catch on to his game. Right now it's really Adam and Steve are the only ones that have anything against Frank, but Adam and Steve are just getting thrown in over and over. So if other teams start to catch on and then there's more pressure to win, I definitely see Frank starting to get a little bit more upset.
Yep. And if people that they're not friends with get some power and are willing to throw them in, yeah, sucks if you can't rely physically on your partner in these games. So back at the house, Adam is still really sick, talking with Steve about maybe somebody will be willing to step up and help them and volunteer to go in instead of them. I'm just no. But they did have the thought of maybe saying that you could take my star. So that's something. You're saying that Adam is not necessarily the best strategist, but that could have been an okay move, maybe. But I think everybody's too scared to go down and potentially go home. So that star thing wasn't really that illustrious. Kellyanne and Sylvia do have a heart-to-heart, and now they're hopeful for their team. So as our resident drama lover, were you happier or sad that these two drama queens have put down their swords and are willing to hug it out?
I think I was mostly happy. I mean, I don't know how many seasons we'll get of Kellyanne and Sylvia on together anyways. So at the end of the day, I don't want them to have personal beef with each other. I don't have anything against Sylvia by any means. So yeah, I'm happy they were able to kind of mend fences a little bit here. And if and when Kellyanne comes back to the show, I mean, she'll find beef with other people. That's who she is. So if her and Sylvia are cool, if they happen to do a show together in a few years, fine by me. As long as Kellyanne is still starting shit with other people, which judging by her Instagram live today, that's definitely the case.
J.S. low-key wishes that Kellyanne never forgave Sylvia. I mean, it was too quick. I wish that if the outcome of this episode was different, I would have liked to see them. Okay, they were forgiving each other because we were thinking Kellyanne's so petty that she is just not going to even forgive. She's going to throw things and throw them in, all that stuff. And so the fact that they were able to come around and like each other to a certain extent, I would have liked to see them work together so that maybe that they'd have just a better shot at getting closer to the end. Anyways, I thought it just sucked that it ended so soon for me. Anyways, for me. Bloody Money wants to know if we saw the Frank versus Kellyanne on the IG Live. I didn't see it, but Matthew did see it. Yeah, it was. I was trying to catch it, but it was. She was gone by the time I got on it. Anything you want to report from that live?
No, Frank posted it all on Instagram, so the whole thing is up there. So you'll definitely be able to check it out. Kellyanne was only in it for a few minutes, but I only saw the Kellyanne stuff because I was watching the episode, and then I like saw on Twitter that Kellyanne was popping off. I'm like, okay, I got to tune into this. So I caught a few minutes of it during a commercial break, and during the elimination, I was kind of half paying attention to the elimination and half paying attention to Kellyanne and Frank popping off. Um, so yeah, definitely recommend taking a look. Frank just posted it on his Instagram.
Perfect. Like Money asked us if we saw the rumored cast for 41. Matthew has seen all the people that have been released so far. I may have seen a couple people, but I don't know majority of the cast. So we will do a live reaction at some point. So please don't post anybody that is rumored or that we think is going to be in the cast, just because I want to just go through it and be surprised by the people, or maybe underwhelmed, as Matthew is warning me with this cast. So yes, we will be doing, as soon as the full cast ish has been revealed, we'll do a live reaction soon, probably maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. Dario, Ashley, Nany, and Turbo are Leroy's allies, which I was like, okay, interesting. So Dario and Ashley, we didn't really know that they were working with them. Did you had an inkling that that was a team that Leroy and Devin were going to be working with? I had no idea.
No, yeah, I didn't really put it together, but like now, like once I saw that, I was like looking back, and I know like Dario was doing a lot of those seasons when he was on the show. He was doing seasons with Leroy, cross paths with Devin for sure. So I do like vaguely remember Dario and Leroy having a relationship. So I'm not entirely surprised. Um, although I would have thought that, and I mean, maybe it is the case. I would have thought Frank and Sam would be in with Dario and Ashley. And I mean, seemingly Frank had a lot of say tonight. So maybe he is in there and they just didn't mention him. But yeah, I wasn't shocked, but it took me a minute to remember that they had a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that they've been on seasons together, but I guess I feel like Dario is like a lone wolf here. We haven't seen him in a while, and he wasn't really integrated in a lot of the storylines that I remember, anyways. So, like, I just figured that him and Ashley were just alone on an island, basically. And I'm happy that they have allies, because they went drafted pretty late, but it does look like they may end up, going deeper into the season than we were maybe giving them credit for. Aneesa is playing Friends, and Ashley's starting to lose it. Just like the juxtaposition of Aneesa just laying down and getting hand massages, and people just coming to her, and then Ashley just her lid's about to blow. Yeah, I feel like this is the beginning of more fighting from them. Do you think that they've nipped it in the bud, or do you think that we're going to see Hurricane Ashley?
I know Ashley doesn't have much nice things to say about Aneesa post show and present day, so I imagine we'll probably get more. I'm just so curious with them. Like the problem is like I don't see them ever being a house vote, and I don't know like if any of these teams that keep winning would throw them in, but I don't know. I don't know if they're long for the game, just based on like their partnership. But it is like also interesting. Like, our team's gonna want to take them to the end, or are people gonna want Ashley out of the game? Um, but I definitely think for as long as they are here, like they won't see eye to eye, and Ashley will continue to kind of pop off whenever Aneesa's not performing to Ashley standards, or I mean, anything Aneesa does, I think will just piss Ashley off.
So back at the vote now, Adam again is hoping that people will just maybe step up, and they even put the cricket sound when nobody's willing to step up at the vote. AM says, though, Adam must have forgotten about how he used to unapologetically target people on the Gauntlet 1 and 2. Sorry you were sick, but no one cares, and you have germs. Bye. Harsh. I mean, I guess you got to try something, but, you know, it wasn't going to work with this group of people. So basically for the vote, everybody said Adam and Steve. The only thing that was interesting about this vote is Veronica and Katie were saying Big T and Corey. And Corey was like, Katie just wants to say my name. And there seems there's some unaired friction going on between them. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, didn't we talk about this like when we did our draft or a couple of weeks ago?
I don't remember.
Yeah, Corey says that Corey said pregame that he was so excited to meet Veronica and Katie, but that's like he did not get along with them. And I mean, yeah, I guess we're seeing it here. I don't know. Obviously, there's something more. I doubt Corey was that upset about a burn vote, but there must be like whispers that maybe Veronica and Katie want out, like some of the newer school people. But yeah, I was a little surprised that Corey was like that offended by it, and even Big T said like, "Don't worry, it's fine." But yeah, I mean, that's another thing I'm keeping my eyes on. I think maybe that'll escalate a little bit in the next few weeks.
Please, like I want to know why. Like I do remember now that you'd mentioned that you never meet your heroes because they'll disappoint you type vibes that Corey was giving off with Katie or about Katie. I just want to know what happened. Like, what were they not getting along with? Why are they not showing this? I'm interested. So give me more information, please, producers. Anybody else with an interesting vote? No, that's it, basically. Oh, Adam and Steve did Frank and Sam. That's about it. Nothing exciting happened. Anything else you want to talk about with the vote?
No, I thought it was a really funny moment from Adam, and then it was pretty predictable from there.
Luar says, ooh, that might be the foreshadowing of who Katie was angry with in the preview. Okay. I'm here for it.
I have a feeling that clip of Katie in the preview is going to be misleading.
Oh.
I just like these like editors, like they always mess with the previews in a way. I have a feeling Katie's going to be like mimicking someone else that's angry, and Katie's going to like it's going to be more of a joking thing where like Katie's going to like someone else said that, and then Katie is just like talking to someone else repeating what they said. I don't think it's actually going to be Katie like freaking out at Corey. That's my personal opinion. I've just like been fooled by the previews one too many times.
You're pessimistic now. I'm gonna be the optimism here, and I'm gonna hope with Dreadful Ruby with Luar that Katie is angry with Corey in that preview. Devon said that Katie was her favorite person in the house because like Katie and Devon would get along. I feel like they would connect. All right, so Devin doesn't want to go after other star holders, so they're considering maybe giving Adam and Steve who they want, which is Frank and Sam. So that's kind of where we leave off. That, you know, Devin's like, well, maybe we'll think of other options, but like that was the last thing that we heard before we get to the jungle. And in the jungle, they sent down Kellyanne and Sylvia. I was like, what? That's so annoying. Like, not that I wanted Frank and Sam to go in necessarily, but like, I don't want to be surprised by this team going in because chances are they're going to be going home.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of the flashback scenes after they announce who's going into the elimination. It's like, it's the second week in a row we've got it. And I'm just like, I'm not a fan of just like being surprised about someone's decision. Like, I think like, I know we don't have that much time, but like I'd rather you shed 5 minutes off the daily challenge than like have us be surprised and then give us like a 15-second clip in a flashback of, oh, this is why we chose Kellyanne and Sylvia, and the week before, this is why we chose Beth and John A. It's like, okay, well, just like have there be a few minutes where we can understand the options of the people in power. And yeah, this was just like, again, like we got a lot of Kellyanne and Sylvia, so I won't say I'm super shocked, but we got nothing as to why Devin and Leroy would want them to be in elimination. I mean, we can kind of gather why because they're non-threatening, but yeah, not a fan of these like reveal then flashback.
Like on Survivor, they've been doing this lately in the new era, and I hate it. It's like, oh, like somebody uses an idol at tribal council that we never saw them find, and it's like then we get a flashback of them finding the idol, and I'm just like, I don't like this is not the type of surprises that I like. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's lazy storytelling, to be honest. Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of it at all. But Kellyanne and Sylvia are going in because Devin and Leroy made a deal with Frank and Sam. Okay, well, there it is. They're going to be playing Pilot On. They have 2 giant spools with 2 puzzles. They first have to solve the puzzle, then hold all the rope that is being spooled down. And then also, even with that challenge, so Adam and Steve, they were able to pick up their rope a little bit sooner, which means that they had less rope to pick up. I don't know if the rope still was falling while they were holding it, but because Kellyanne and Sylvia, they had a couple, like a minute or 2 longer with the puzzle, their rope was going to be harder even for them to pick up in the moment. And so I really didn't mind the challenge, but didn't think that it was a fair matchup, and unfair matchups makes it really boring. It's boring. Why do you want to see people get clobbered? Anyways, so Sylvia is pissed because she had to go down, of course. But Adam and Steve get the puzzle, and then the next thing I wrote is, and then they win. Like, that's it. Yeah, anything else about this jungle elimination? I wrote, wow, this is lame.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like once the 2 dudes finished the puzzle, it was a done deal. And then to my point earlier, like if Kellyanne and Sylvia did finish the puzzle earlier, I still think they probably would have lost. Just like they were struggling mightily with way less rope at the time. So yeah, I think this one would have been really tough for Sylvia and Kellyanne to win unless Adam and Steve completely screwed up the puzzle.
Or
but that would be
they
the only
dropped
way.
the rope, which they weren't going to be doing.
Yeah, even then, I just think Kellyanne and Sylvia also would have dropped the rope, and Adam and Steve would have had more power to like fix it. And not a great elim for me.
I didn't mind the elimination. I just thought that it wasn't well matched. They needed to maybe figure something out. Maybe if they were standing on a big platform so that like the ground would have been further away. Maybe that could help a little bit. I don't know, the rope even being heavy. Like imagine Kellyanne and Sylvia going against those 2 doing not so fast. Like it just wouldn't be well balanced. So yeah, it's not that fun to watch when it's unbalanced like this. All right. Well, they are surprised that in the end that they actually like each other. We hear the producers in their joint confessional ask if there's a hug in their future, and they're like, absolutely. They hug it out. And so the end of their rival season is that they are friends, and they seemingly are a lot more like each other than they even knew. They were kind and joking each other as they're packing. Anything else about the Sylvia and Kellyanne of it all before we say goodbye to firecrackers?
I really just hope we see more of Kellyanne. I think we will. Kellyanne actually tweeted during the episode that she, or after the episode, that she really wanted to do season 41. And the only reason she didn't do it was because of the wildfires in LA. And she just had a lot going on with her like animal rescue, like with animal rescue stuff. And she like just thought it was too soon to leave when like she's taking care of a lot of animals that had to like uproot out of LA or the LA area. And it was just like too much for her pets and her husband. So she said she really wanted to do it. She just had to get in the right headspace. But I was really happy to hear her say that she would consider doing the flagship again. Obviously, 40 did not work out well for her. She's done a lot of All Stars, but I think she's like at a good age too. Like she's, I think, late 30s. I really want to see her on the flagship as well. Sylvia, like I wouldn't mind seeing Sylvia back as well. I've never been the biggest Sylvia fan, to be
Me
honest.
neither.
She's kind of like my least favorite of the Lavender ladies for sure. But I mean, hey, if Sylvia can come back and give Amanda and Ashley some numbers, then I would not complain.
Sophie wants to know if we think that Frank and Sam would have won against Adam and Steve.
No, no chance. I think Adam and Steve definitely would have won.
Unless like Frank was really fast at that puzzle and then just get all that rope on Frank. So I think it would have been a closer of a match though, to be honest. But it was all about a time thing. So it was basically whoever finished the puzzle first. So it could have been anybody's game, to be fair.
I think Sam would have like struggled with the ropes. And like
Possibly.
we didn't see anyone drop the ropes because Adam and Steve just didn't drop the ropes. But I do think like production probably thought it would have been easier for the ropes to be dropped and having to like reset.
Well,
and I
they
think like
probably
Sam
didn't
would have
think
made
that the puzzle would have been completed so quickly, right? Because like the more rope that's there, the easier it is for some of it to drop. And so if you get that quickly, doesn't have that much rope, and you can keep it off the ground. So it was a failed challenge, but something new that they can maybe workshop. All right, back at the house, we see Aneesa joking about Ashley being a redneck, and Ashley gets pissed and definitely is not happy with Aneesa. Aneesa apologizes, thought that it was a safe space for her to be able to joke about this with Ashley because Ashley makes jokes about herself in this way. But Ashley isn't having any of it. What do you feel about this fight with Ashley and her partner, Aneesa?
I think that I understand where Aneesa is coming from for sure. I personally think that Ashley probably didn't actually care that much about what Aneesa was saying. And I think Ashley was just frustrated with Aneesa and was using what Aneesa said as a way to go off. And honestly, she didn't even go off that much at Aneesa, but what we were seeing afterwards, where she was talking about Aneesa when Aneesa wasn't there, and Aneesa was eavesdropping a little bit. I think that was kind of more what Ashley was going for. Like she was just looking for a way where she felt like she could pop off about Aneesa, and this was kind of the end. I really don't think Ashley cared that much about what Aneesa said, though.
I understand that. What I thought was interesting though is when Aneesa was eavesdropping, that Ashley was complaining to Fessy, and Fessy is kind of being the person that's trying to smooth things over here because he wants to work with Aneesa and Ashley. So I thought that was interesting that there is a little bit of an alliance there, that he wants them to get along so that they can work together and have some numbers. So I thought that was
Well, it's a
interesting.
vacation. They're the two vacation alliance, them and Nany. So I'm not Aneesa, Fessy, and Nany. So I'm not surprised that Fessy wanted to make sure that was good because it's a number for him potentially. It was interesting that Ashley was talking to Fessy. Dude, does Ashley have much of a relationship with Fessy
I'm
before
thinking,
this season?
I was thinking no, because wait, that season when Amanda was talking to Fessy, she was talking to Nelson, wasn't she?
Yeah, so I imagine they would have like been friendly then, but then when Fessy and Amanda had the falling out, I'm sure like Ashley's not the biggest Fessy fan, but um yeah, I mean Ashley like she said it tonight. She doesn't really care to be friends with everyone. So I guess like whatever relationship she has, like she's just going with. Did Fessy and Ashley hook up?
I don't remember that, but I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't remember that.
I don't I
Especially,
don't
well, it
remember
would have had to have
either.
been before Amanda, because I don't think Amanda would take lightly to Ashley hooking up with him. So, um,
It would definitely have been before, but I don't think they did.
I don't remember that at all. Yeah, I don't remember that. Well, who's our MVP this episode? I think Adam and Steve, because they pulled through being super sick, and then still able to win the elimination. I think it's pretty impressive, and making an alliance out of that with arguably one of the strongest teams in the game. So my vote's for them this episode. What do you think?
Who do they make an alliance with?
With Leroy and Devin.
I don't know. I don't know if that's
It
going to
could
be
be just for
a
right
real
now, but
alliance. Um, yeah, I mean, I think Adam and Steve were entertaining. It's just like they got voted in. Like basically, it was basically a house. It was like a clean sweep of the votes. Just a couple throwaways. So I don't love that for them, but
didn't they
I guess
kiss
it's
and
kind of
Ashley immediately regret it? Huh.
it's possible. Maybe that was season 35. Um, yeah, I guess Adam and Steve.
I mean, I can't really think of anybody else. If you think of anybody else, we can give it to them. But right now, I can't really think of anybody else. I know that they got voted in, but
Well,
I don't think. Do you think
I
that?
like what Frank is doing, but I just like Sam's not really doing much for me right now. I think Frank is like the mastermind. If it was individual, I would say Frank.
Yeah,
Um,
kept it out of
but
the elimination.
yeah, and he got his way. Like he even I liked his comment saying that he was like controlling Devin and Leroy, and Devin will probably go online and say that like that's not the case, but it seems like it is the case. Yeah, as if we're giving it to a team, I'd say Adam and Steve.
Debu says Frank MVP told Leroy and Devin what to do like two little boys. I mean, I could be swayed here, but Sam sucks. Like Sam's no help. At least both Steve and Adam are, entertaining and working well together.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we're just gonna give it to whoever gets voted in and 9-0 every week, it's gonna be tough.
Okay, maybe okay. Don't say 9-0. It's so dramatic. Okay, Frank.
Well, I
Fine,
mean,
Frank
everyone
and Sam.
basically, no one had their backs, unfortunately. So,
That's true. Even the
um,
people that they're working with did not have their back. That's true. Okay, Frank and Sam. Frank did put in some work that will be useful probably down the road.
and
And
Frank is providing entertainment 6 months later on Instagram Live. So, if Frank is going to be providing during the season and in the off season, then I got to give Frank some respect here.
all right, I'm
But the
sold.
fact that he's on Instagram Live and not in Chile filming season 41 is a disgrace.
But he
He should not be
probably
on
hit leave
Instagram
for
Live.
6 months. We know that. Isn't he a doctor?
I don't know what he is exactly or if he's practicing, but Frank should have been there. He could have made it work. I think he was I think he was in Chile traveling, well, or he might still be there, but they were filming there and he's just not on the season. And he did an Instagram live with Adam and Kellyanne, who are two other people I wish were on the season, but the three of them are stuck in the US, not entertaining us, or entertaining us on
Boo.
Instagram, but not on TV.
Boo. Oh, physiotherapist? Like, and what, has like a doctorate in like kinesiology or something? No say, no say, no say. Well, thank you, Matthew, for chatting with me about this episode. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything you want to plug? How's your pod going?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's fun. We're just yeah, if anyone wants to check out me talking about mostly sports and movies, a little bit of TV and reality, not too much yet, but you can follow my YouTube channel. It's called Pop Culture Piggies. It's with me and a friend of mine. We've done just a few episodes so far, trying to just figure out how to talk for an hour straight and what to talk about. So it's a bit of a work in progress, but if anyone wants to check us out and like and subscribe, it would be super helpful to get those views up. So that's what I'm up to, and probably do another episode of that later this week to talk about the Super Bowl mostly, and then just talking about what movies we've been watching this each week. So it's fun. It's good. And yeah, as
I was gonna say, do you have a sneak peek of one of the, like, a movie, maybe a recommendation?
Yeah, well, I saw, what did I see? I saw The Brutalist, which is a 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Excellent, I heard.
Yeah, it's like it's a long one. I mean, if you can go 4 hours in a movie theater, I would highly recommend. So I saw that, and then I saw I'm Still Here, which is a Portuguese movie. Again, like, highly recommend for theaters. So we'll be talking about that. I'm trying to watch all 10 Oscar nominees before the Oscars in 2 weeks, and I've watched 8 of 10. So I'll definitely do it. I got a Complete Unknown left to watch, and I need to watch Nickel Boys. So those are the next two on my list.
I could help you. I have Nickel Boys. I have a screener if you would like it.
I want to try to see it in theaters. If I can. I don't know if it's still in theaters. But,
I mean, definitely to support the movie for sure. This is like an official screener, so. But anyways, I definitely haven't seen it yet. I plan on watching it. I want to watch all the Oscar movies as well. Maybe if you do like a pod about the Oscars, can I come and talk about it?
Absolutely.
Sweet. I'm happy that you were able to catch the live, Brandon. It was super fun. We will be back next week. I think that everything should still be normal to talk about the next episode. Other than that, thanks, everybody. Please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to Matthew's. Like this video. Let us know what you think about the MVPs. Do you think that we already saw the fighting between Nany and Turbo, or is there another fight to come? Let us know all your thoughts. And spoiler free on the cast of 41, I'm going to do a live reaction as soon as the full cast is released. Okay, so we'll be doing that soon.
You can tweet me about the cast of 41, though, if you want. I love talking about 41, so tweet me.
Okay, bye.